Hi, I'm Erika Gilchrist, the Unstoppable Woman, speaker, author, and trainer, and welcome to this episode of WTF, Women Thriving Fearlessly, where we feature the personal stories of successful people to inspire women to thrive. Oftentimes on television, we see people who are in dire straits, and we always wonder, how can I help them? Well, with us today, we have someone who's down in the trenches with them. We have Apostle Dr. Rosalyn Overton of Follow Me as I Follow Christ Outreach Ministries. Apostle Rosalyn, thank you so much for joining us today on the show. We really appreciate you taking time out to come and speak with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me today, Erika.
Absolutely. So just tell us a little bit about your ministry and what it is that you do.
Well, in the ministry, we are in outreach. And outreach just simply means we go into the communities, we go into the prisons, we go into the hospitals, we go into the neighborhoods. And we just try and not just show love, but we try and generate that type of love one amongst another, so that they feel like that everything is genuine to them, and drawing them in so that they can feel like as well that there is someone out here that will support us, whether we're homeless, whether we're imprisoned, whether we're sick in the hospital, going through detox. We try to make it feel as genuine as possible so that the individuals don't feel like, oh, we got these people feeling sorry for us because we don't have anywhere to stay. Everyone runs on hard times at one point in their lives or another.
Okay, now I hear you say we. So when you say we, like how many make up the outreach?
That differs per city. It can go anywhere from 30 people to hundreds of people. The reason why, and if we go back a little bit, you called me apostle, is because I oversee churches. So it depends. If I go into one of the churches that I oversee, I'll find out the outreach team, and they might have a dozen people on that team, or they may have 5 people on that team. No matter the amount, we get together, we put together an agenda, and then that is the outreach that we will do for that month or that season.
Okay, so it's done on a monthly basis?
Weekly per church, but with me, monthly.
Now, how did you decide that this is what you wanted to do with your life?
That's good, really good, because I didn't, quote unquote, decide it. It was kind of through me just being in church all of my life, but then the hunger, that real yearn of understanding the Word of God is what put me into Bible college. And then the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. So that involved internships. It involved me going in and having a fellowship. And so you got that one-on-one experience, and you get this training through this outreach, and you go, oh, this is nice.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? It sounds cliche, but it's like, I hoped someone today, you know, who genuinely needed help, and we did it on accident. You know what I mean? They feel like they didn't set this up. They just brought me food today, or they didn't set this up. These people brought me blankets, you know. So that's how it was. Somewhere in 2003 that I took it seriously.
Okay. Now, I heard you say that you go around to different churches
Yeah.
and work with their outreach. What's the process of locating a church to partner with?
Well, I'm in a Reformation. The Reformation is where the Archbishop presides over all of us. In that Reformation could be 10,000 churches.
Okay.
I draw from that list find out where my particular region is. And just like I cover the Philippines. So I go to any of those churches within the Philippines, find out who has the most important need, the viable need, and then that's when I call that pastor and say, listen, I'll be in your region, that's such a month. What could we do for you all? What is your dire strait for this particular time?
Okay, and these people that you reach out to, and you're absolutely right, every single person, regardless of where they are right now, at some point is going to fall on hard times. So my direct question then would be, what do people say to you specifically just before you leave? So you've come there, you've helped, and what's the feedback you get from them?
Wow. We get the tears of thank you. We get the we appreciate you. But the best one I got was, thank you for making me feel like I was human. Not just a piece of meat or not just another case, not just another number, you know, homelessness or someone who is trying to transition from the drug ward of a hospital back into mainstream of life. They like to still feel like they are human and be served with dignity. And a lot of times, and this is anywhere, anyone, in any particular sector of life, we can go out and we can help, but sometimes it can be in a condescending type way.
Yep, absolutely.
And we still lose them. They won't give you any information as to their whereabouts, and they don't connect with you. So you might have left a Bible, you might have fed them for a month, whatever, but then as soon as you're gone, so are they.
Yeah. So now, for someone in your position whose life mission it is to assist others, I'm sure there are times when you need assistance as well. So where does Rosalyn go when she needs help?
Woo!
From other people.
Yes, yes. You know, I like I said, I do have an archbishop, and he is phenomenal, Dr. Will Boyd. He's out of Alabama, and the reason why I say that so quickly is because although geographically he is not here, I could call him in a heartbeat, and he will pick up the phone. The secretary won't pick up the phone because I'm the general secretary. For the Reformation, but the point being is he's one of those touchable leaders.
Okay.
So he's not so high up that I cannot reach out to him and say, look, wasn't a good day. And it might be, it wasn't a good week.
Right.
And he's able to kind of take me through that and get that deep breath moment. And then he can easily say, well, how about this? How about you take a hiatus for about 3 days, a week, whatever is necessary? Because in this industry, and I hate to call it industry, but in this type ministry, you can get burnt out.
Yes.
Because you're helping people with needs. And like you say, everywhere you go, someone has some sort of a need.
Yep.
But he is a wonderful support system. His wife is just as genuine. I never have been made to feel like, are you kidding me? You're calling again? Or, you know, this is my husband and my time. You know, we're having dinner. None of that. And this has been ongoing for about 5-6 years that I've sat up under him.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's good to be able to go to leadership and not have a knot in the pit of your stomach going, oh, I wonder if I'm bugging them today. So if there was someone who wanted to do what you're doing, what advice would you have for them?
Make sure that it's God ordained. If not, you won't have the fortification needed for the demand. In other words, God gives you the grace to do this type work. And Erika, I want you to understand, when you go into these other countries, you're not staying at a 5-star hotel. You might have to literally go to the washroom in a hole in the ground. So you have to know that God called you to do something like this, or you just, you won't make it.
It's not a glamorous lifestyle.
No. I am not salaried. You know, I don't live in a mansion. No one pays my car note. It's not like that. You go in understanding that this is the ministry of God. If you don't have a passion to do what thus saith the Lord, you won't make it. It can be depressing, you know, when you go there. You went from an airplane with a bathroom on the plane to going somewhere that may not have lights, or you might be sleeping on a cot. It just depends. So that would be my number one recommendation. Make sure God called you to do this so that you can go ahead on and make it through it.
So now someone believes that God has called them to do this. The next step for them would be what?
Answer the call. I love it. Say yes. When we say yes, he makes that crooked way straight. He makes it to where you might run and get just a little bit weary, but you'll never faint. You'll never fall. And I know the word says you will run and not get weary, but that's the way you feel on the inside. And so that is the time when you take the deep breath and you go, well, God, keeping it real, say, well, I thought you told me to go over to this hospital and do this type work in this particular ward. When you do that and you run into an obstacle to where you're not received, or who are you to come see about me? You think you're better than I am. It'll make you say sometimes, I thought you told me to go here, God. You know, I thought this would be where you want me to be. The obstacles only come to try us. It doesn't make us any less right, or we didn't hear God wrong. It's being able to make it over that hump. So that's step 2. Just go ahead on and say yes, but I always tell them, now ask God for the strength for what you have to do.
So what would you say is the biggest misconception people have about outreach ministries?
That we're in it for the money.
You're in it for the money. So would it be a safe assumption to say that most people think that outreach ministries make a lot of money?
And not even make a lot, because we don't go in with any type fees. We don't charge anybody for anything. But I think they think we have some sort of collaborative partner somewhere that might be sponsoring us, and that would be great. Hallelujah. But we don't. And I think that also the biggest misconception is that when we leave them, we do go back to these big 18-room mansions, and you know, we have a Bentley with a driver and a cook, and none of that. We are, especially in outreach, we are highly misunderstood. I come from a very small church for my upbringing, and we were in outreach as well. And we literally would fundraise on Saturdays to get ready for that mission work that was forthcoming. So we do a whole lot of begging, you know, okay, can you please donate shoes or donate paper, donate Bibles. And we do a whole lot of selling, you know. We will sell the cakes, we will sell the ink pens, on and on and on. But it would definitely be nice to have some sort of sponsorship, because mission work is expensive. You need resources to help the individuals you're trying to get to.
So if there's someone watching this and it's really resonating with them, and they said, you know what, I want to support you, how would they go about doing that?
They can go to the website, thecityofdavid.org, and donate. They can donate directly through a P.O. box. All that information is on the website. So, but there are venues. They can use the PayPal, mail a check. Everything is tax deductible. We are not for profit. We hold the 501c3 status, so nothing is being filtered through my back pocket and then maybe later on to my car note. It doesn't work that way. It goes directly through the Reformation leader, and they go through the treasurer, and the treasurer makes sure that whatever is in need for that particular community is taken care of.
Okay, so if someone says, you know what, I'd love to be able to do that right now, I just don't have any money, is there another way people can support you?
Please, please. What about your time? What about having someone who I'll use myself again. I'm on my way to the Philippines. I might not have hotel money. I might not have a place to stay because these people are in the streets. They just went through a big, big crisis. So maybe they'll say, but I have a home there. I can lend you my couch. I can maybe drive you around from church to church, whatever. Bring a case of water. Small things add up. Nothing. It sounds cliche, but no donation is too small to help another individual.
So in this type of work, usually what makes people connect with other people from heart to heart is similar experiences. So I want to shift gears a little bit and just talk about you and some personal trials and tribulations that you have experienced. Anything that you're comfortable sharing with our audience. So talk to us about some traumatic experiences that you've had that God brought you through, and now you're in a position to help others. What were some of those situations?
A lot of the situations, I guess the best way to say it would be not having the support of a whole lot of family. And it's not necessarily that they say, well, that's not my cup of tea, but it probably isn't their cup of tea. And a lot of times if someone doesn't share the same vision that you do, people do taper off. You know, they just don't find anything relative to them. So I can remember going through a particular time when I was called or chosen by God into ministry full-time as a pastor. Like I said, that was back in 2003. And unfortunately, me leaving the church that I grew up in, all these years, I'm in my 30s, and I'm getting ready to say, thank you. I love you all. But God has called me just a little bit further on the outside of these walls. I was severely segregated and ostracized for that because, number one, people don't believe that you can hear if they don't hear it too.
Right.
God didn't tell me that. I didn't hear. I don't think God told her that either. It might not be convenient for them. You know, it might make them feel like, but you were here 30 some odd years, now you're leaving me. You know, that frustration of being separated. It was very difficult. I don't come from a real large family in the first place, but it was very difficult to not have family support. You know, my father was deceased at that time, but I still had my mom, and she didn't take it so well. So it made things very tense between us. And I can remember maybe everyday phone calls tapering off to maybe once a week, once a month. And before you know it, it's like knock, 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 remember me?
Right.
So it's difficult. But one thing I can say is the most rewarding thing is when you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God has called you to do something, He'll begin to give you those play mothers, you know, the ones this is my play mom, this is my God mom, or I call her mom. Now I have 3 compared to my mother's deceased. So now no natural mom. And I thank God for the increase. You know, I thank God that I could call them mommy or God mom, because we all need to remember our rootings, you know, our groundings, those things that keep us connected to what's important, which is family. And I did, like I say, essentially I'm okay, but back then that was very difficult when you don't have anyone to talk to. The holidays come, you're not invited over, or you know you shouldn't be trying to go over there because it's just no longer the same.
How did you handle that, though? So, you know, you're being ostracized by the very people you spent your life with up until that point. Did you feel the need to defend your decision?
At first I did. And one of the pastors that was kind of quote unquote covering me at that time, she says, don't say anything. Leave it there. Hold your peace. Let God fight the battle. And I did, but I'm going to tell you, it wasn't, there were many days I want to say, look, but I would hold it and I would hold it and I would hold it. And then what I noticed is that over time, they were able to start seeing for themselves. I remember one particular time where one of the members of that church saw me at a conference that I was holding, and she said she just watched me the whole time, and she knew from that moment forward God had truly called me. She knew it. She said, there's no way this is the same Roz that I knew back then.
How did that make you feel?
On the inside, I tell the truth.
Yes.
Oh, God, it was like, yes! I told you he called me, but, you know, you keep your humbleness. You're like, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But you just sort of go skip into your room like,
right.
I'm trying to tell them. I can hear too.
Right.
But, you know, much to their defense, people can be, especially when you're with someone for so long, they can just get a little possessive. They know they're going to lose something in your yes. When you tell God yes and you're telling them no, and they didn't hear the words come from God, they hear it come from you, it's easy to just say, I didn't hear him say that. Well, you're right, you did.
You didn't, I did. Right. Exactly. So in your line of work or in your ministry, do you notice a difference at all in terms of the effectiveness that the ministry has when it comes from a woman versus when it comes from a male?
I do notice a little bit more. It's still kind of sad to say that men get a whole lot more of a reception in the beginning. After a while, the anointing destroys all the yokes, and then you're being called on just like a man. But there is a difference when it's in that introductory period, especially when I call. I'll give you a, for instance, I called to see about a senior home here in Chicago. I says, oh, we just wanted to come in around the holidays and start maybe doing some Bible classes or doing some counseling. Just any type of spiritual reinforcement that we can donate to this senior home. And so they go, who are you again? And it was almost like, I don't know you, which was true. Well, where are you located? And then you start getting the real serious questions. And can I have your website address? Because they really want to know. You're not a big name. I didn't call and say my name is Dr. Cindy Trim or Paula White. Or no, I didn't. And then they go, well, here, who's your spiritual Godhead? I'm not married. So I'm over the church. It's not a male. Yes, me. I mean, well, I didn't know females were apostles.
Wow.
So, you know, they take you into, right, my response.
Okay.
Exactly. And so you find yourself defending your title, and they're still forgetting about the need that we're trying to meet, and forgetting that the anointing is not gender preferenced. So you have to defend something that's totally not important.
Before you can get to the important.
Before you can even get to the important.
So if there's a woman you can think of, past or present, who you would deem as someone who thrives fearlessly, who is that person?
Fearlessly. I would have to probably say, and I can say it on, okay, yes, okay, because, this woman, her name is Lady Vita Boyd. I have two, but yes, Vita Boyd. She is my Archbishop's wife. And she just, hers is so fearless. You know how sometimes we in an uncomfortable position, we'll probably be like, well, I mean, her yes is yes and her no is no, and her face never changes. It's just like, you won't make me sweat. I'm here to do A, B, and C. And in about 5 seconds, it's like, either you're going to let me in or you're not.
Say her name again. Say her name again.
Vita Boyd.
Vita Boyd. Okay, Vita, thumbs up. Thumbs up for Ms. Vita. So in general, what advice would you offer for women in order for them to thrive?
Please, please know who you are. I have a book out, just sidebar, it's called Happy Birthday, Your Spiritual Beginning. This book helps any person to tap into who they are on the inside instead of trying to be someone else on the outside. We look at people, we look up to people, but now you need to look within yourself. And so I would definitely say, know your talents, know your giftings, and that right there is your seed. Ask God on how to water it, because then he'll bring the increase. Trust him.
Wonderful. My goodness. Is there anything that you did not have an opportunity to say that you'd like our viewers to know?
Know that just because we're not the bigger names doesn't mean we don't need help with the ministry. We need the donations too, not to broadcast, not to be on the station every Sunday morning and you guys can have fellowship with us. That would be nice. But we're in the highways and the byways. We're in the trenches. And sometimes we need a little help. You know, we need a rope. We need something to help us navigate through that process, because if we're able to help those who can't help themselves, then that to me still is just as rewarding as donating to a larger ministry that has hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
So tell our viewers one more time how they can support.
Please go to www.thecityofdavid.org. You can look at the website, you can find out all the information about the ministry, and then you can donate right then and there.
Apostle, thank you so much for your candor and for offering some wonderful advice for our viewers. And you are definitely a woman who's thriving fearlessly. And I'm asking you to please continue your mission, continue the ministry, continue to help those who can't help themselves, because it's not just one. It's never one. We're all connected.
Yes, we are.
So even as you are out helping others, you're helping me too.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Thank you for that.
Our pleasure on behalf of the entire ministry. Our pleasure. And thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So for you who are watching this, we want to encourage you when you feel that your spirit is calling you to do something, don't question it. Just move, move, move. Thank you so much again for joining us. And we're going to say goodbye to our viewers for now.
Bye-bye.
I'm Erika Gilchrist, award-winning speaker, author, and trainer. And thank you for watching this episode of WTF, Women Thriving Fearlessly. While you're here, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel and be sure to share this video with all your friends and all your social networks. And head on over to theunstoppablewoman.net where we can take your questions and comments. And until we speak again, thrive fearlessly.